Tonight on The Five Show, we put the spotlight on landlords.
You are harboring an overstayer.
Wow.
That will amount to a prison term.
Who's naughty and who's nice?
It's an accident. I cannot ask people to pay for the whole floor, right?
What do you do if you have the landlord from hell?
You have to replace all the tiles, and he will pay.
Find out on The Five Show.
Have you had any stories about bad landlords?
Yeah. Like noisy lah, busybody lah, or whatever thing lah.
Have you had a bad landlord before?
Yeah, some of one or two. I mean, like they, they're putting restrictions on everything.
Like what?
Like I can't. I mean, like certain times I can't come back, and I have to use the toilet at certain times only. Then sometimes they will be doing cleanup and all that. Then I can't step in. And
Fussy landlords, I would say. Yeah.
Fussy, like how?
Like they give you curfews. They limit your movements in their house. Yeah.
Do you think that's reasonable?
I believe there should be some set rules and something that both parties agree on. Yeah, because ultimately all of us are adults.
Please welcome your hosts for tonight, Yasmin Cheng, and your nosy but helpful neighborhood uncle, Teo Senang.
Uncle Teo, what are you doing there? Uncle Teo, we have a show to do. Can you please get back here?
Huh? Who's calling me?
Uncle Teo Senang, get to this seat here.
Me? Oh, are we starting already?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I
Hello.
I apologize for that. Welcome to The Five Show. Now, tonight our focus is on nasty landlords.
Yeah, welcome. I'm very happy to be here. Hey, I have another secret. I tell you, you don't tell other people, okay? No, not you. You.
Yeah.
Come closer.
Okay.
Come closer.
What is it?
Okay,
What is it?
wait. Shh. This friend of a friend rented a flat in my HDB flat, but he didn't know that the flat was actually a rental flat.
Oh, but an HDB rental flat cannot be sublet, right?
Correct. So, my friend of a friend lost his room, his money, and his best friend.
But I get the first two, Uncle Teo, but his best friend, how does that...
The estate agent who helped him get the room was his best friend.
Oh, I get it. Well, that makes sense. When here to share their views on landlords, tenants, and estate agents, we've got Mike Kasem, Kim Ng, and Benjamin Heng. Welcome, guys.
Hello. And of course, to help us explain the laws, because trying to understand the law will give you white hair, we have an expert, celebrity lawyer, Mr. Rudy Marikan. Rudy.
Okay, so Kim, have you been a nice landlady?
Of course. I think I'm the nicest landlady. Yeah. Because whatever the tenant asks for, I will try to give them. Yes.
$1 million.
They want to change a fridge, I will change. They want to change this, change that, I will do it for them.
Are you sure you're going to say this
on
national TV?
Yeah, no, you know why? Because I want them to be happy staying in my house. When they're happy staying in my house, they'll look after my house.
Oh.
Not house, like apartment. Okay, it's small apartment.
Okay, anyway, I also want to ask Ben, you are also an estate agent, right? He's an actor also. And what sort of problems have you encountered when representing fussy or difficult landlords?
Sometimes some landlords, they just don't want to fulfill their responsibilities. Like during handover, they don't do the ratification, stuff like that. And also, sometimes they have ridiculous demands. Like if something is spoiled, right, wear and tear and stuff, they actually ask the tenant to, to replace it, and sometimes it's ridiculous, yeah.
Aiyo.
Well, Mike here.
Yes.
Magic Mike here.
Yes.
He is a tenant.
He does have Magic Mike's body, actually.
Yeah, okay, take it off.
Yazzie. My goodness, what are you, 8 days editor? My goodness, that's all they want me to do is take my shirt off for 8 days.
I don't know what sort of magazine it is. They cannot count. There are only 7 days in a week, not 8. So anyway, Mike, any stories about bad landlords?
Oh, I do have one. A nightmare landlady, okay? She rents me her 5-bedroom house. I mean, I was blessed. She really liked me, so I got it for $800 US. This is in the US. 5-bedroom house, pool. The whole thing was beautiful, but she was a nightmare. Check this out. She would show up without calling me and telling me, open the door and just go and sleep in one of the rooms for a night. I come home and there she'd be just crashed out in one of my rooms. And it got so annoying. She was just a nightmare. I finally sat her down and I said, Mom, you've got to give me my space. I'm growing up. I'm an adult. I know this is your house, but give me some room.
Landlady from hell.
Anyway, our next reenactment is based on an actual case. A gentleman, let's call him Mickey, rents a room in a 3-room HDB flat from the owner. We'll call him Mr. Raju. Now, Mr. Raju has locked up the master bedroom and doesn't live in the flat. Things are peaceful for a few months until...
I did it
Mr. Raju. Hi. Can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, of course. Hey, I know you will understand. I mean, you're such a nice guy. You see, these are my friends from overseas. I mean, they are here for the local Kacang Puteh conference, and they couldn't find a place to stay.
Right, so what, they're bunking here?
Actually, I've agreed to rent them a room, but just a couple of days, okay? Don't worry. You don't have to worry about anything. They're very quiet. How much noise can a bunch of Kacang Puteh owners make? Right?
How much noise indeed. 1 month later...
Take me down to the paradise.
Mr. Raju. What? I can't hear you. Mr. Raju. Guys, can you just give me 1 second here? I'm trying to make a phone call to Mr. Raju. Yeah, Mr. Raju, you said that they were going to be totally quiet. They've been anything but. They have, as a matter of fact, they're having a noise challenge to see how loud they can be. And I think the guy with the microphone is definitely winning. They're driving me nuts. You said they were going to be here a couple days. They've been here a month already.
All right, come on back, Mikey.
You can come back to this couch. It's like you're couch surfing.
Yes.
Okay, now we want to ask
better.
our celebrity guests.
Yeah.
How many HDB rules were broken in this scene?
First of all, whether they are staying there or not, are they if they're causing a nuisance to the tenant or not, they are already disturbing the neighborhood.
Okay, one.
Yes. And
Subletting. It's not supposed to sublet, right?
Okay, that's 2.
Two.
And they sublet to too many people.
Is it 2.5 or 3? Any other answers?
Crowded.
Too crowded, overcrowding?
Yes.
3? Okay, so let's ask Rudy. Rudy, what were the rules that were broken?
In fact, numerous rules were broken if you had paid attention. Number 1, he's not allowed to rent out the room for less than 6 months. So when he said just now, my friends were coming over and they want to stay for a few weeks, that is not allowed under the HDB rules. Minimum is 6 months. Are we clear about that?
Okay.
Yes,
so
yes.
HDB places or rooms cannot be converted into a hotel.
Okay.
A short-term rent out, no, they don't allow that. Okay. Secondly, the reason why he kept that room available, now I say this with a lot of reservation because a lot of people are actually doing this but not realizing it. They keep one room in the impression that they're telling HDB, I'm not renting the whole flat out.
Right.
A lot of people have been caught, a lot of people have actually got into trouble with HDB. HDB will come and check to see whether you are actually staying in that place. So this plan of locking that room and saying, I'm actually staying there, no longer work because they send their officers to check to see whether you actually stay there.
They're in on it already.
Yes, and the other thing which he has broken is the landlord and tenant agreement. When the tenant agreed to stay in that place, he clearly agreed to quiet possession and enjoyment of the place. There is no such thing where you can drop in anybody you'd like or leave anybody you like. It doesn't work. And if the tenant is not happy with that, the tenant can actually give notice to terminate the agreement. Because the main agreement, quiet enjoyment, peace and tranquility, is no longer there.
Oh, okay. Let's talk to Ben. Have you ever been approached by HDB owners who want to rent out their place illegally? And did they know they were breaking the rules or was it done out of ignorance?
Many, many times.
Oh!
Yeah. But, of course, I refuse lah.
Of course.
For example, give us some example.
Yeah.
No,
Give
like,
us an
like,
example.
Rudy was saying earlier, a lot of them, they... their MOP, minimum occupation period, is not up yet, which is the 5 years. So you're not supposed to rent out the whole flat. Right. So like they say, I think years ago, maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago, they can, if they lock one room up, you see. But a lot of them, they don't know. These rules don't exist anymore. Okay, so you are not supposed to sublet or even rent out the whole place unless your 5 years MOP is up.
But then, one of the most important rules is if you are going to rent out your whole apartment, you have to get clearance from HDB.
Yes.
You cannot do it on your own quietly because you have to register it too.
So at that point, when you try to do that, you'll be told that you can't.
Because you need to get approval from HDB and you also need to report to IRAS as well.
So many things to do.
Exactly. So you need to give your agents a commission, you see, they deserve it.
For 1-800 Benjamin Hay, yes. So Rudy, what if the apartment, the HDB flat was a private apartment and was rented out to a foreigner? Can the foreigner bring a spouse over for a short-term stay?
Okay, now this is a very grey area. A lot of people will sign the agreement on their behalf. So in other words, assuming I'm actually renting the place out, I'll put my name as the one who is bound by the contract. Now then my wife chose to come and join me from India, and then I said to my landlord, you know, she's coming only for 2 weeks. In a situation like that, if my landlord gives me that concession, then it's okay. But if it turns out that she's staying for another year, then it's best that I get her name registered in the agreement. Because in the event any problem occurs, the landlord would have 2 people to go after, me and the wife, for the protection of the landlord. Because there will be times when people quietly come in and the landlord is not aware. And the man, the one who's actually bound by the contract, have left the country.
Now, if the wife that comes to join the husband, I mean, work permit-wise, does there have any relation whatsoever to this joint?
This is a very important point also, because sometimes wives come in and then they overstay.
It means no work permit.
They don't have rights to stay, and they don't have any approval from ICA. Now, if your neighbors complain and your place is raided and they find out that this particular person is an overstayer.
You are harboring an overstayer.
Indeed, this is a word which you all learn now because you are breaking the ICA law. But when you are staying in my house, I'm harboring you. I'm protecting you.
And that's illegal as well.
That would amount, sir, to a prison term. Let's be serious about this because there's no fine. It's a clear prison term. It's not funny when you, as a landlord, wanting to make money out of a particular transaction, end up being dragged to court, charged, and find that you have no defense whatsoever.
Or being kind enough to think, you know, well, it is the house, it is the spouse, you know, I'll just close one eye. So now we know.
If you intend to rent out your entire HDB flat, make sure you seek approval from the HDB. The minimum rent-out period is 6 months and is the duty of the landlord to ensure all long-term occupants are legal and registered in the agreement.
Maya!
Ben, how
Uncle
are you?
Raju, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Ben, you showing your potential clients around, huh?
Yeah, my client wanted a HDB room in a flat, so I got them one for $800.
$800? What kind of 5-star room is this?
You're only renting a room for $500, no?
You don't know. Rental prices have gone up. $500 for HDB room is 2013 prices.
Uncle Raju, imagine $300 more. Huh? I can finally buy the Kacang Puteh Auto Cone Roller KP 2000.
What will Maya get up to? Find out after the break.
Uncle Raju, imagine $300 more. I can finally buy the Kacang Puteh Auto Roller KP 2000.
Hey, Maya, please don't do anything that I won't do, okay?
I won't do anything that you would do, but I would do something that I would do to get the $300 in rent. Like this. If you want Kacang Puteh, you put your hands up. You want Kacang Puteh, you put your hands up. You want Kacang Puteh, you put your hands up. Give
Maya, are you hearing the neighbor's cat screaming again?
No! Like this. You want a Kacang Puteh, you put your hands up. You want Kacang Puteh, you put your hands up.
That was you, right.
Maya kept the noise making up for weeks until Mike, not being able to take it anymore, confronts her.
You want Kacang Puteh, you put your hands up.
I can't take it anymore. I'm confronting you. You are louder than a Gold 905 rock party.
Well, if you can't take it anymore, then you can leave. If not, Uncle Raju, tell him.
You see, Mickey, you can just pay $300 more on your rental, then we can all have some peace and quiet.
Excellent. Well done.
Oh, your hair. I think we have some problems with your hair. And I never knew Gold 90.5 had rock concerts.
We do, man. We rock out.
Really?
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
Listen to Gold 905 in the mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. and the rest of the day, too, because we're awesome.
Okay, that's enough of you plugging your own radio station. Let's continue with this show. It's called The 5 Show. You can catch it every day, Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. Anyway, Maya is a very clever businesswoman, sneaky but smart. But the question to Rudy is, was Maya doing anything illegal?
I think it's crystal clear that she was. You are not allowed to create such disturbance, even to the point of annoying your tenant. That is completely breaching the terms of agreement. So is it illegal? Well, not necessarily illegal, but is she breaching the agreement? Yes.
So Rudy, can the landlord request for higher rental fees before the contract ends?
I love this word, and I suggest you learn it now. It's an unequivocal no. In other words, crystal clear. We have an agreement, we have the duration, we have the appointed time. In between, it comes to your whims and fancies, and you suddenly want to increase it. The answer is, I'll drag you to court.
Oh.
Okay, so
but then
Rudy,
how does the tenant deal with a landlord who is trying to chase him out because the latter wants to increase the rental fees?
An agreement is an agreement. If within that 2 years I'm supposed to pay you $2,005 and suddenly the interest rates have gone up and you have got to pay more on your mortgage, that's not my concern. That's not any of my business. That's your matter. When the 2 years has expired and you really want to get rid of me and you said, Rudy, we are increasing it to $3,000, that is your right. I also have the right to pack my bags and split.
Now, are the rules different for rental of HDB and private apartments?
Well, the good thing about private apartments is that you are not regulated by anything. As you know, HDB is very strict about this because, after all, it's public housing. But even if it's your condominium, which a lot of us own, or a lot of you guys own it, you still got to follow the strict regulations, meaning you got to register it. You've got to make sure for income tax purposes, IRS purposes, it's all followed. And to protect yourself, you've got to do all those things. Then you must also remember, if you put in 20 people in there, it becomes a fire hazard. All the authorities will come in and you will be in trouble.
Well, our final scenario is about what happens when a tenant is about to move out of his HDB room.
Mickey, the keys.
Alrighty, here you go.
Mickey, everything packed, huh?
Everything is packed. I've even got my trusty Kasem's cube all set to go.
Oh gosh, look what you've done.
What's happened now? Find out after the break.
Oh gosh, look what you've done.
Relax, it's no big deal. It's just a chip, okay? I'll replace this marble tile.
One marble tile. I'll call the tile fellow. The tile company.
What?
You can't just replace one marble tile. You have to replace all the tiles, and he will pay for it.
Get back to your seat.
Quite scary, lah, yo.
Jang, jang, jang.
I'm running out of faith.
So, Kim.
Yes?
Would you ask your tenant to replace your flooring? All of it?
Of course not. I think that is not very reasonable. You know, the apartment that I rented out is a wooden or parquet floor. So the previous tenant, they used to mop the floor with wet cloth, which is not suitable for the wooden floor.
Makes it bubble up.
Yes, well, so the thing popped up. And they just left. So the new tenant, when they come in, right, they say, oh, the floor is not perfect enough, so I have to do something about it. So I pay and do something about it.
But Kim, that's parquet floor. Now, let's say you have some marble floor that costs a lot more than parquet to replace. Parquet you can replace for quite inexpensive. So
parquet is expensive also.
Not compared to marble, though. You get some marble floor. I mean, I'm not saying that you should have to replace everything, but what would you do if your tenant broke one of your marble pieces and you couldn't find the proper marble piece to fit? You could find close, but not the proper piece.
Now, would you agree to it?
I'll be very upset lah, but it's an accident. I cannot ask people to pay for the whole floor, right?
Oh,
You're
everybody
a very forgiving person, right,
everybody
Kim?
wants to be Kim's tenant now.
Yeah.
But
So
how can?
Rudy, legally, can Maya make Mickey replace all the tiles?
Look, usually at the end of a tenancy agreement, one of the triumph cards which a landlord would be holding is the deposit. And sometimes, this again, not all landlords, but sometimes landlords, they don't have the money to return. So they find fault with the tenant. They'll say, oh, this needs replacement, that needs replacement. You see many cases like this, where tenants become extremely unhappy because you're nitpicking on me. Look, this is called wear and tear. What do you mean I got to replace the sofa? When actually, it's wear and tear.
And that's got to be difficult to prove, like in a court situation, right, what wear and tear is. Or...
But logic will tell you, if the toaster breaks down because of age, you asking me to replace, I will fight you. So please remember, landlords, we do have intelligent tenants. Tenants who will take you to court and tell you this is unreasonable. Like now, you said I want the whole floor relaid. I give you an example. If I were to bend the back of your car and it's slightly dented, and you go to court and say, I want a new color for the whole car, does that make sense at all? It is not. The issue is reasonableness. If you take me to court, the court will say, are you mad? Yeah. Unless you have made it very clear in the agreement, you said, I've got the most expensive flooring. If anything happens, you will replace it. It's made crystal clear.
Oh, because it's not reasonable.
Do you think that the tenant would have a case against not having to pay that deposit? Or is that like pretty much, is that if the landlord wants a deposit, can they just pretty much be mean and take it?
Again, as I say, not all landlords are like this. But sometimes some of them can be extremely unreasonable for reasons best known to themselves. So if you have replaced it already and it looks okay, but she's being ridiculously impossible, I'm not happy with this. You know what? I'm clinging on to your deposit. Sue me if you dare. So it becomes convoluted and it becomes tiresome. You just want to have a clean break. You want to get onto a new property. You don't want to be tied by this sort of thing.
Yeah. He broke the marble.
But you could if you wanted to.
Well, you know, there are lawyers out there who will take out any case given to them.
Right.
Whether they succeed or not is quite another matter.
But it's much, I think it would be cheaper to just forfeit the deposit, I think. But anyway, Rudy, any final words of counsel on being a good landlord?
I think we all know that when we get into this relationship, it's monetary terms. The landlord wants to make money, the tenant just wants a quiet, peaceful enjoyment of the property. If both of us understand our commitments, we will have a lovely relationship. And at the end of it all, tenants, you must respect the landlord's property because that's not yours. If you have been brought up well, you understand how to respect other people's property. Landlord, do not think that every time you can get away with unreasonable demands.
Hear, hear.
There too. Okay, well, I learned a lot tonight. I must go and tell all my friends what my lawyer friend Rudy taught me. Thank you, Rudy.
You're welcome.
And a big thank you to our wonderful guests, Kim Ang, Mike Kasem, and Benjamin Heng. And we'll see. Thank you to Maya and Uncle Raju. Welcome in, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow night.
Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye.